Podquest.
So did you notice the page in issue 1 of this where they have something called the Ultimate Combat Quiz?
No, if that was in the back matter, then no.
It's right at the end of the Kano backup story. It says test your might, the Ultimate Combat Quiz, KWIZ. This is in Mortal Kombat U.S. Special Forces issue number 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw a few of these quiz questions at you. See how well you know your Mortal Kombat
I'm gonna
stuff.
fail.
It's multiple choice, okay? So
we're doing it right now? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, we're gonna do it right now. This is how we're gonna open the episode, man. Corey, I'm gonna give you the Ultimate Combat Quiz again. KWIZ. This is that. In what world is that how you spell quiz? Like even in
the Mortal
Kombat
Kombat
land,
universe, it is.
Traditionally you change the C to a K. This is a QU changed to a KW. It's out of control. All right. Question number 1. This is multiple choice. So again, let me read all of the choices before you choose. Okay. What is the name of Sub-Zero's ninja clan? Is it A, the Hand, B, the Cold Warriors, C, Lin Kuei, or D, Wang Chung?
Are those seriously the 4 options they came up with?
These are seriously the 4 options printed in this comic book.
I'm gonna go with I'll do C, Alex.
Yes, Lin Kuei. That is correct. All right.
Well done.
Question number 2. I don't know this one. Good thing there's an answer key. For what movie did Johnny Cage win an Academy Award?
Oh, fuck.
A, Uncaged Fury. B, Fists of Stone. C, Dragon Warriors. Or D, Sudden Violence.
I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, this might have been in an issue of the comics.
I think it was.
It might have been in like Battle Wave number 1. Honestly,
I like my chances on a guess though. 25% chance.
Let's hear it.
Sudden Violence sounds like the most likely to be an Oscar movie.
That is the correct answer. You nailed it, dude.
Excellent.
Okay. Question number 3. According to Midway's Mortal Kombat 2 comic book, which warrior won the last Mortal Kombat tournament? It's weird that they're referencing like the official Mortal Kombat 2 Collector's Edition comic in this licensed piece of garbage. A, Liu Kang, B, Sub-Zero, C, Goro, or D, Johnny Cage.
Who won the last one?
The last Mortal Kombat tournament. This okay.
It would have to be Goro, wouldn't it? Then
it is Goro.
Yeah.
Goro is the answer. But if it's the Midway Mortal Kombat 2 comic, Liu Kang won Mortal Kombat 1. This might whatever. We're gonna take it. It's Goro. You got it.
Outstanding.
Which combatant cannot actively compete in Mortal Kombat? A, Scorpion, B, Reptile, C, Raiden, or D, Baraka?
Can't compete?
Cannot compete.
Raiden can't.
Yeah, Raiden cannot compete. Easy one. You got it.
All too easy.
Here's a big one. What is the name of Goro's father?
Is this really the question?
It is. A, Goron. A, Goron. B, Gorbak. C, Gomo. Or D, Cornelius.
I really wish it was Cornelius. But it's Gorbak.
It's King Gorbak.
Superb.
I can't believe I know these. I don't know what I was worried about the questions being, but like they're surprisingly answerable.
All right, well, we got a tricky one coming up next, okay?
How many fucking questions is this quiz?
There's 10 questions. Number 6. What secret Mortal Kombat character is named after the game designers? A, Noob Saibot. B, Sub Nibot. C, Boon Tobias. Or D, Boon Saibot.
Why did they do this? It's Noob Saibot, obviously, but also just like
excellent.
Damn, dude.
Who owns the book and is like filling this out and is like, oh fuck, I think it's fucking Boon Tobias, dude.
It's Sub Nibot. Pretty good, honestly.
Like, if you're gonna bother doing this quiz, I don't know how you don't know all of these just like in passing.
Sure. How old is Shao Kahn believed to be?
Oh God.
100 years, 500 years, 1,000 years, or 10,000 years?
Fuck, I don't know, actually. this one.
Well, we do know that katana is believed to be 10,000.
That's the only thing I was going to go off of is that.
Yeah, sure. 10,000 years, correct. You nailed it.
Yeah, I figured it was that or 1,000, but I didn't know how they were going to try to maybe fudge the numbers.
They should have made it more obvious. It should have been like 40, 60, 10,000. Of what criminal organization is Kano a member? A, the Green Serpent. B, the Black Dragon. C, the Red Plague. Or D, the Yellow Fever.
Wow, I don't like the last two that they went with at all, actually.
Yeah. It was 1995.
Yeah, well, like, even, I don't know, just make one of them the Red Dragon. Make it funny.
Sure, yeah.
Black Dragon, please.
Correct.
Superb.
Correct. Which character is the rightful heir to the throne of Outworld? Melina, Kitana, Shang Tsung, or Shao Kahn? Easy peasy, right?
The rightful heir to the throne of Outworld.
Yes.
Not
Don't
Adenia.
overthink it. Don't overthink it. This is before that was really cleared up.
Oh, so it would be
Yeah.
Kitana
it's
then.
Kitana.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well done.
And the last question, how many times must Shang Tsung win Mortal Kombat to open the portal between Earth and Outworld? 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, or 13 times?
Any multiple choice question that's built around numbers sucks, first of all. That's just not an interesting question.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, it's not 3 because it would have happened already. Because I've read the book that you made me read. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure, yeah.
that would be 10, please.
10. Yeah, dude. All right.
Wow, I'm a true Mortal Kombat champion.
Feel the power.
Let me tally this up here a little bit. Looks like you got 10 out of 10. Congratulations. Okay.
Do I win anything?
Congratulations. So here's how the scoring breaks down. If you get 9 to 10 correct, which you did, congratulations. You are the grand champion of Mortal Kombat.
Flawless victory.
That's a big responsibility.
That's you. You are, dude.
I don't want that. I didn't sign up
Too
for
bad.
that.
Kung Lao didn't want it either. But
he's at least capable.
It's the burden you must carry.
Put the sound drop in.
I will.
It's the burden you must carry.
If you got 6 to 8 correct, very good effort, but you're still mortal. 3 to 5 correct, not bad, but not quite in fighting form, are you? And 1 to 2 correct, Goro would like to have a few words with you.
I don't believe that he will actually say much.
You did it, man. You're the Mortal Kombat champion.
Damn. That's crazy.
That's all it takes.
I was genuinely worried that some of those were going to be some weird, like, deep cut bullshit, not canon lore, and I wasn't going to know.
No, they played it. They played it smart.
They played it very safe.
They were going to be like, what is U.S. Special Forces Agent Lance's birthday, right?
Well, that's May 15th. That's today, actually. We're doing it on his birthday.
Oh, shit. The real May Day. Am I right?
Happy birthday, Lance.
Lance, who is not mentioned once in this book.
He
Mortal
was
Kombat.
too busy celebrating his birthday.
Malibu Comics presents Mortal Kombat U.S. Special Forces, a Mortal Kombat adventure, as the title page calls it. The story is called Secret Treasures. Do you want to just dive right into this?
Yeah.
This G.I. Joe knockoff comic?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. Let's run through the makers, the creators of this masterpiece. I'm going to do a little Neil Nook here. Welcome to the Neil Nook.
It's Gucci.
They had a little fun with the credits.
They did.
They did. I'm going to read them
I noticed
verbatim.
that too.
This issue, Secret Treasures, parts 1 and 2, this goes for both issues, the main story, was written by the tingling pen of Mark Panaccia, penciled by the gashing graphite of Patrick Rollo, embellished by the enchanted strokes of Abraham Madison, lettered by the naturally nimble fingers of Joe Allen, colored with vicious vibrance by Scott Katanich, and edited with a liberal dose of lighthearted fun by Dan Shaheen, and based on characters created by Ed Boon and John Tobias. They didn't get a fun credit.
Gross, it's liberal.
Different writer. So when I said that Charles Marshall wrote all of these, I was wrong. He didn't write this one. The guy who wrote this one was actually the editor on Blood and Thunder and Goro Prince of Pain, I believe. One big change is that when this guy's writing, people aren't referring to themselves in third person on every page.
They are still doing it though.
Are they? Because I had a hard time identifying
They're also
some of these,
saying
some
other
of these
people's
key
names
players.
a lot, like in conversation. Like it would be like if
Sure.
every time I talked to you, I started the sentence by saying Neil.
Right.
There's some of that.
Which you're going to do for the rest of the podcast, correct?
I will, Neil. Yeah.
Okay, cool, Corey. Okay.
It makes the sentences feel so much more direct when you say the person's name to them. It's weird.
Yeah, it sure does, Corey.
Yeah, it does. Neil.
It's, Corey kind of makes you sound like an asshole. Well, another thing I noticed, the art in this is, even though Patrick Rollo is still providing pencils, it doesn't seem to have the same sort of vibrance.
Well,
and
I think that's more of like a color palette, like a conscious decision.
Sure, it's the colors, but it's also, I think, the inker.
Yeah, it's. I find it more less visually interesting.
Yeah, there's also a lot of just sort of generic vans and docks and
Yeah, stylistically, it's very like blandly 90s, but also like the hyper
just, like, lab
saturated color
interiors.
was such an appeal of like the earlier issues that we read. And I know that this is meant to be at least somewhat more grounded, but
yeah, arguably.
well, like theoretically,
Sure, yeah.
but that hyper color visual style is such like a point of appeal.
Yes.
With those books being kind of messy otherwise, that for the visual appeal to be muted pretty significantly, I just found that it lost a lot of that, like
a lot of the style that Blood and Thunder
the flourish
had, really.
is just not there.
There it is. Flourish. That's a good
And the
word
flourish
for it.
was exciting. It went a long way. So
Yeah, and I think from here on out in the series, we're going to get a little bit of some stuff's going to look like this book does, and some stuff's going to look more like the Blood and Thunder and Goro books did. But they're definitely, the style's going to change as we go. I think you're kind of right. It's kind of a bummer. Like those. I
like how like off the wall those other issues feel.
Yeah,
like what's those shirts that like you slap somebody and their back was sweaty and it put a handprint in their shirt in a different color, whatever that was.
I have no idea.
Oh, this is a thing apparently, like shirts that could change color if you like rubbed it or something.
I kind of remember that. Okay,
I wasn't really there for that, but
when they adapted mood ring technology to wearable clothing.
Yeah, it was like, what if that was on every page of your book, but also only pastel colors were allowed? It was pretty.
Right,
it was pretty sick.
No, the first like Blood and Thunder and Goro Prince of Pain were like slap bracelets as comic books.
I think what I'm thinking of was called Hypercolor.
Hypercolor, yeah, that
it had some hypercolors in it.
And this book is just a little. I still enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I think it taps into something specific for me. I'll probably talk about later. But let's just start digging through this storyline for Secret Treasure. We open with just like a bunch of dudes loading crates onto a boat, and they're Black Dragon goons, and they're worried about the Special Forces catching them, and then the Special Forces just kind of show up and catch them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so who makes up our team here? We've got Sonya Blade and Jax Briggs, and then we just meet a whole bunch
litany of random people.
Just everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat characters, the U.S. Special Forces team.
Yeah, so there's Billy Flanagan, who's just a guy.
Billy Flanagan or Cody Finnegan?
It's Cody Finnegan. Who's Billy Flanagan? It's definitely Cody Finnegan. I just forgot. Yeah, it's Cody Finnegan. Cody Finnegan, who's just a guy.
Yeah, my note says Cody Finnegan, who just sort of sucks.
Cody Finnegan is just a guy in a beret.
And shoulder pads.
And then there is, in what order is the funniest way to do this? Let's do this one. Then there is Silence.
Yes.
Sylence.
Yeah.
Who is
I don't know. She's a woman. Her face is kind of painted like maybe she's in the Kiss Army, right?
Right. Wait, hold on. This is not a joke. I've confused two of these characters because I was about to describe the ghost that can fly, and that's
Vapor. It's very
fuck.
We got. You want me to lead?
No, I should just open the book because I don't have it open. But If you want to get a sense of the degree to which this didn't leave an impression, I read it yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
And I've completely forgotten. Okay, so Silence has swords.
She got sword, or are they blades? I couldn't really tell from the art. We don't get a lot of looks at these people.
The cover looks more
either.
like daggers, and then somebody else has swords.
But I think the daggers come out of her hands.
I'm gonna level with you. I genuinely don't know the name of the person on the cover holding swords because I only have 3 other names written, and there's 4 more people.
What? But she's so important. All right, let's get through Silence. Silence has daggers that sort of come out of her wrists, like a shitty,
like Altair,
kind of like Baraka or like a shitty Wolverine, right?
Or
but just one.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, sure, like Ezio.
Well, that's what Altair was,
or whatever. Okay,
I did the bit already. Keep up.
All right,
Come on.
gotcha.
I'm getting everything else wrong. I have to at least get the bit right.
You got it. Okay, and then the one that you can't identify from the cover with the 2 swords, that is. She's the only one I think we get a rank for, Lieutenant Mika Stone, who
right
is faster and more dangerous than a nunchuck, essentially, is how they describe her, more or less, when she cuts a guy's nunchucks with her swords in this big fight. Then we've got Vapor. You want to tell people about Vapor?
Yeah, Vapor is a ghost that can fly.
Sure.
Ostensibly. There was some sort of science experiment where something went wrong, and like some kind of superhero origin story, she, I guess, can turn into vapor, which is the ghost bit, but
which is not the same as turning into smoke.
No, they're different. They can also fly with that power, and despite the fact that in this experiment that allegedly maimed them in some way, the rest of their body is completely fine, they do wear a metal mask that they have never taken off.
Sure, it's like a Vegas-style mask.
Yeah.
Right, from Street Fighter. And then we've got
a different motherfucker with metal arms.
Torque, who has 2 bionic arms, which honestly mostly feels like a fuck you to Lance from like the first issue of Blood and Thunder. And again, this is a pre-Jax has metal arms world that we're living in, because we're in 1995 still.
Yeah.
Also, Torque wears Morpheus glasses, just little tiny sunglasses.
Yeah. I will say, early in this book, everybody's very like on the first splash page where you're getting like the close-ups of everybody's like special forces outfits. Torque is the most Judge Dredd looking motherfucker that has not been in a Judge Dredd book I've ever seen.
Yeah, he definitely, I can absolutely see it. And he's like gripping a dude.
Oh, he's murdering a guy, 100%.
He's ready to fucking kill.
Always thought, man, media that I enjoy has not given the U.S. military enough runway to just sort of do whatever they want with a bunch of elaborate technology and murder people with reckless abandon. Boy, do I have good news.
This is what happens when you give commandos metal arms.
That's what Metal Gear Solid's about.
It's a... I get the feeling, first of all, most of these designs decidedly not Mortal Kombat-esque, right?
Not at all.
Like, these look like they were designed to sell action figures that just never had a chance of getting put out. Or these are like rejected designs from some other Malibu Comics series, and they're like, well, we already got like the art and designs worked out. Let's just throw them in this. It's very strange, and it's so very 90s. It's so specifically everything has to be a G.I. Joe clone, right? Like, they even did that with Street Fighter and the Street Fighter cartoon. It's just the G.I. Joe series in the movie, right? Then the 94 live action Street Fighter movie. It's just a G.I. Joe movie. And now we got this Mortal Kombat comic book that is just a bad G.I. Joe comic book. Like, everything was doing this at the time. They just didn't have any other ideas, I guess. I don't know, man. But Special Forces bust up these Black Dragon goons, loading crates onto a boat, and then all the Black Dragon goons just kind of like dive off the end of the boat and blow it up and send all the Special Forces people flying. And poor Torque loses an arm, but don't worry, it's a robot arm. Also, the Black Dragon people keep calling the Special Forces agents Speds.
Yeah, which is not a short form that I think makes a lot of sense.
Also, Shout out to the Black Dragon dude with one eye and a gun for a hand. That was kind of sick.
Yeah, that was kind of sick.
And then, of course, the lame leader of this gang of the Black Dragon, Rojak.
Trash name.
Yeah, bad name. He's going to be very integral to this storyline, but nothing else ever. So they blow up the boat. The Special Forces guys all make it away. Sonya and the boys are fine. We cut back to them at the Special Forces HQ. Action figures sold separately. It is a huge building. Right, it's like the Baxter building from like the Fantastic Four. Or some shit.
It's comically gigantic, but also, can I read the description of the building to you?
Yeah, yes, you can.
The building stands like a tall and proud sentinel, knowing that within its rooms and halls, some of the bravest and most honored soldiers of America strive to keep this great country safe for others. Yet it is a towering responsibility, one that bestows relentless pressure on those who have taken an oath that many times overwhelms and tires. Can we fucking chill out, dude?
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this.
You're murdering a made-up group of terrorists.
Sure, and a boat just exploded, and you're going to spend most of your time not even driving around in like the Special Forces battle van, just regular old vans in this comic book.
And this one dude who keeps losing his metal arms makes the one funny joke in the whole thing. If I keep losing my arms, Clinton is going to have to raise taxes again, which means that Bill Clinton is canonically president in the Mortal Kombat universe.
That's right. And getting called out for his tax bill.
Or
in
the
this
potential
Mortal
need.
Kombat.
But like, imagine saying you're raising taxes on the American public to
pay for metal arms for the Special Forces.
Bionic arms for the fucking Special Forces.
So is this the writer of this comic book, like, is he like a Republican kind of calling out Clinton's tax plan, or is he like a liberal dude calling out the bullshit about how the American people have to pay for the military? Like,
I think it's just a joke.
I don't know. There's something more here. Whatever. Either way.
There's definitely something more here.
Whoever wins, we lose. Am I right?
Yeah, that is the thing I say.
So we're back at the Special Forces HQ. Sonya is reading the file on Rojak when everyone's favorite Mortal Kombat character, Dr. Boone, who again is just like another dude and doesn't have cool like action figure accessories, comes in and shows her a piece of like a stone tablet or some kind of relic with markings all over it that they recovered from that scene at the dock, right? And he identifies this thing. He's like, look, it's too old to have been made by man. And I don't know what it's made out of. I can't identify the substance. I don't think it exists here on Earth. But we also recovered a whole bunch of gold bars that the Black Dragon were putting on that boat. And they all have the same markings. Oh, and we captured one of the Black Dragon goons, and his name is Tread.
Yeah, why does everybody have fucking names like this?
Like a tire. So we get a scene where Agent Cody Finnegan and Silence are interrogating Tread, and Silence is like straight up threatening to murder him, but he won't talk. So they're like, all right, let's get some truth serum in here.
I thought that was a joke. I don't think they actually have truth serum.
Well, they got robot arms.
I thought the implication of truth serum was they were just going to beat him up.
Oh, I like that better. That's probably exactly what you're talking about, but they don't do it.
They don't.
They should have. Meanwhile, Jax and Mika Stone are still at the dock investigating the scene, and Jax like, I don't know, man, my intuition is telling me we've overlooked something. And that something is like a fairly large Black Dragon like handheld communication device. It's like the size of like the original Game Boy. Yeah,
can we talk about this for a second?
Yes.
These apparently work with like phone numbers and just like normal ass area codes and shit. So you can like look up.
You can just hit redial.
You can just hit redial, and then the last person that you called in your fucking Game Boy is like a chemical company? Or like an explosives company?
Explosives factory, I think
Why do they have a publicly listed number?
Like clearly they just accessed like the address book. Like this, whoever communicator this was in the Black Dragon like took the time to input like the name and the email and the address and the relation, like the whole like profile that nobody ever puts in on their phones. Right.
Yeah.
Like, do you do that? Like, do you have like?
Occasionally, I will put in where somebody works, but that's largely for like work reminder purposes.
Right.
If it's somebody that I'm just like friends with, absolutely not.
So you don't have like Mitch in there with like his address and his email and everything?
No.
Good. It'd be psychotic if you did. Do you ever save like a business? Like, do you have like a Guitar Center like saved to your phone contacts or anything like that?
I do not have Guitar Center saved into my phone.
Or anything similar like King Burger. There was a time in my life where I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to store all the information of all the places that I go into my phone so that I can, if I need to call them or whatever, or send somebody directions to meet me there, it's all ready to fucking go. I got like 3 entries in and I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Well, then you realize you can also just Google it in like 2 seconds because we can rely on other things now.
Yes. The amount of time it takes to Google it is less than the time it takes to input it in your phone. Yeah, it was just not worth it. But it's Black Dragon standard practice, I guess. Anyway, they find the communicator and Mika and Jax head back to the van to like trace the number to this chemical explosions place, right? Or explosives place, right? And immediately just get their van ran into by a Black Dragon van like right away.
Yes.
They get like a small fight, but there's like 8 Black Dragon dudes and just Jax and Mika. So Jax and Mika get their asses kicked and the Black Dragon take them hostage. Back at Special Forces headquarters, Torque comes in with his new arm and makes a sick check out the armory joke.
And everyone laughs.
And everyone laughs and claps and they start carrying him around like on their shoulders like he's a hero. And then the team finds out that they've lost contact with Jax and Mika, so they all rush to the interrogation room to check on Tread, and they find Tread like dead on the floor of his cell. That's the end of Secret Treasures Part 1. Nothing fucking happens.
Nope, they set up that the Black Dragon exist and are doing something.
Nothing fucking happens.
And you've met 18 people you didn't know before.
They spent all their time introducing a bunch of people that you'll never see again. And that's how they chose to start this like they needed a 3rd issue probably because they're going to try to cram a shit ton of story into the 2nd issue.
It is really weird that it's only 2.
Yeah. But before we get to Part 2, they've injected a small like 3-page backup story into issue 1 called Kano in Breakout. Now, I know what you're saying. Why are we interrupting the main story arc to talk about this? Because that's what the publisher wanted by putting this story that clearly takes place after this arc in the middle of the 2. So I'm going to run through the credits for this one also because it is different than the main story. We've got and they also had a little bit of fun with the credits in this one too.
Yeah.
Charles Marshall is back on this one. He is credited as the prosecutor. Patrick Rollo is credited for mugshots. Richard Emond is the armed guard. Can't even figure out what his role is.
Nope.
I'm thinking inker. He's the inker, right? Joe Allen is the court recorder. That must be lettering. And Dan Shaheen as the district attorney. And Mark Panacea as the warden, which is a nice way to like call your editor a warden in a prison. Anyway, there's like nothing happens in this, right? Sonia and Jax are at the Midway Penitentiary. Nice. Trying to warn the warden that the Black Dragon is going to break Kano out and they want to help stop it. And the warden is like, thanks, but no thanks. We here at Midway are more than capable of handling the Black Dragon. On the next page, the Black Dragon's broken Kano out of this fucking prison. And as the text box says, it's a night for madness, a night for freedom. And then Kano starts referring to himself in 3rd person because Charles Marshall is the writer on this one. Sonya and Jax do their best to beat up all the Black Dragon goons, but Kano still escapes just basically by hopping a fence and getting on a helicopter. And he takes off and says that Kano has places to go and people to kill. That's the whole story. It was like 3 pages. But it looked more like Blood and Thunder because of the artwork and everything. Like it was closer to what we've seen so far. So it was kind of a nice little.
I do want to say quickly, the artwork that we're getting here isn't like bad, and it's still got some like color accent in it that I find interesting. It's just not as fun by a pretty significant margin.
but it is 90s cheese like always. Everyone in this is what's maybe different from the other ones where we've got like the ninjas and like Liu Kang wearing like his baggy pants, is that everyone in this is in skin tight clothing. Like men and the women, you can just see everything.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean
got lost thinking about it for a second there. Anyway, after that short disruption to just like tie up the fact that Kano was imprisoned at the end of Blood and Thunder and needs to be free by the time Battle Wave starts, we're going to jump into issue 2, which is Secret Treasures Part 2. The crew, Sonya, Torque, Cody, and Silence, are like all looking at Tread's dead body on the floor of his cell while doctors check him out. Sonya's absolutely got like a little smile on her face.
And the doctor's like, dude's dead.
Yeah, she's like, what's the prognosis, doctor? And they're like, dead. He's dead. Obviously, he's dead. Right. Poisoned himself somehow. Must have been like a cyanide capsule situation, like in his tooth or something,
sounds like
right?
it, yeah, like they've all just kind of got those.
Feels dangerous when you're in constant fist fights to have like a tooth with a cyanide capsule, because that shit's just going to get broken.
I'm sure they figured this out. They've got technology.
Maybe they used the artifact to teleport the cyanide into his mouth, right?
They could consider that.
Anyway, Sonya FaceTimes with some agent that we don't know the name of.
It is weird that you're using a Game Boy phone, but you have like all of this incredible shit.
Jackson Mika's van was found, and according to eyewitnesses, they were abducted by the Black Dragon.
According to eyewitnesses, it didn't have airbags.
The van did not have airbags. That was a rough way to find out. Jax is like, either the airbags are broken or we didn't get them. Got to increase taxes again so the special forces can get safety features on their vans.
Figure it out,
time,
Bill.
Right? Come on, Clinton. What are you doing?
Come back from that island.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Hey, is that the island we see through the portal at the end of the book?
Rojak gets into Jeffrey Epstein's island. If you check the logs, he's in there.
Rojak definitely on Epstein's island. God, you know the Black Dragon was into some shit like that. You know they were.
Fuck.
Anyway, Sonya's pissed, right? So we cut to a warehouse where Jax and Mika are being held. Rojak's just like smoking a cigar and blaming them for how much gold the Black Dragon lost when the boat blew up. But like,
even though they have infinite gold. Just
yeah,
because,
like,
to be clear, are we about to explain what this artifact actually does?
Yeah, we can explain that now. But I just want to say, part A of this, you blew up the boat, Rojak. Like, you could have had something in place to like throw the gold overboard with the rest of your boys, because you swam away somehow. You probably could have like pulled a raft with gold on it and not had to blow it up. Like, that was a choice that you made, right?
And you made it immediately.
And B, you have infinite gold.
Because the artifact opens conveniently, as everything does in extended Mortal Kombat lore. It opens portals to other realms.
Yeah, they call them dimensions in this, and I think that's just the Black Dragon not knowing any better.
Yeah, and so they say that every piece of this artifact opens to a different realm, and this like ancient group put all of their like award winnings from various conquerings.
Yeah, their spoils of war
into different dimensions as like safekeeping, and now they have infinite riches.
Yes, so like long ago, some islander tribe used these artifacts, one of which the Special Forces has, several of which the Black Dragon have, called Kitai. And they just open portals to other dimensions. So it's like a bag of holding, right? In Dungeons and Dragons, you can just open a portal to some dimension and just start like stacking your shit in there and then closing the portal.
You've got a bunch of the guys in the alleyway from Mortal Kombat Conquest Episode 7.
Yes, yeah. Tons of them, all black robes and everything. That's what the Black Dragon are doing, I guess. They were going to take this gold and this artifact and like open a portal and stick the gold through and then close the portal, and then the Special Forces interrupted it. It's unclear. It's still unclear.
I think like, they had just taken that gold out of a portal and into like real world, and they wanted to like take it to go use.
Sure, but now in this warehouse, they're going to open a portal somewhere else and put more gold in it. Again, like we know what the stuff does. We still don't understand the why or the how or what the fuck is going on. But we do know that the reason that the Black Dragon are keeping Jax and Mika alive is to force them to be the ones who actually take the stuff either in or out of the portal. Because apparently these portals are a little unstable and sometimes they just close, and Rojak is tired of losing his men, right?
He doesn't sound that tired of it because they do keep doing it.
Sure, but couldn't he? But why does it kill them?
Because they can't. They just can't get out.
Sure, but can't he just open the portal again? Just do the ritual again and be like, "Come on, Jeremy," right?
I guess not.
Get the lead out.
Maybe the waves are really bad because they look like a lot of them open to water. So maybe it's just like they just can't swim. Maybe
it's a shitty
bang bang.
Plan. Yes. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't make any fuck. Anyway, that's what the Black Dragon are doing.
Stupid. It doesn't matter.
It's dumb. Black Dragon stole these things from the from archaeologists. They got a whole bunch more coming. They
did a bunch of hunts and hawks and
back at HQ, Sonya and the boys are in the research lab where some nerd is blasting their artifact with E-waves or something, their Kitai. And they're like, hey, this is how we can find Jax and Mika, because if the Black Dragon have more of these, we can like blast E-waves until we find a reaction and then trace the reaction. It's bullshit. It's pure nonsense bullshit. But whatever, it works, right? So they set out in 2 teams. All right, we've got 2 teams of speds here. We've got Sonya and Torque flying to the warehouse in the Special Forces battle chopper with Vapor flying next to them on her own. And we've got Silence and Cody driving to the warehouse in the Special Forces regular van. And their tracking system is like triggering a reaction to the Kitai in the warehouse, and it's starting to like make them go off or like activate or something, right? But they crash the van into a bunch of dudes, and Sonya and the boys break into the warehouse. There's a fight. They free Jax and Mika. One of the portals just opens and to Epstein's Island, clearly, right? just an island on the water. Torque throws Rojak through the portal and then also throws the crate of Kitai through the portal.
I don't see how that solves the problem.
And then the portal closes and they're like, and Torque loses an arm and they're like, good job, everybody.
I guess ostensibly the solution is, well, he can't get back to Earth, but like maybe he can. We don't know. Maybe
he can. Because it's just a whole box full of those things. But if nothing else, he can start hopping through realms. This is what we saw in Defenders of the Realm. This is what we saw in like any number of things.
How the real U.S. government works, which is we've just made it somebody else's problem.
Yeah, this is what we saw in Blood and Thunder when like Raiden threw the book through a portal and it just landed at the feet of Johnny Cage, right? Or when they kept throwing like God-killing weapons through portals and into space in Defenders of the Realm, just like they're done. Like, you just did the same fucking thing. It's still a problem, dude. That is absolutely, that's America, right?
Yeah, well, and it's funny that it's treated like a solution, where it's just like, well, it's not your problem.
I would argue that they have created bigger problems by doing this than they were facing.
They've created the potential for much larger problems, yeah.
Because they gave him all, That's the whole story.
It's a silly conclusion to a story that is too short and not enough happens.
That's the whole story.
And the new characters that we've met have very little bearing, if any, on anything that has happened here or will continue to happen.
Some of them are cool. Like, they look cool. Like, I like a lot of the designs. And like you were saying, the art, like the pencils and inks and stuff are good. It really is kind of the drab colors and environments that are dragging this thing down. Because again, it's an office building and warehouses and a van, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of a boring setting and a boring story, but with some pretty cool looking characters in it that we don't spend any fucking time with them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they spent more time designing the extra characters than they did utilizing them. So I kind of wonder if they were angling for like a whole running Special Forces series.
They must have been, but like
two issues just ain't enough.
It's not even enough to do proof of concept for the potential of getting more. Like, it's so little.
Not at all. And I can't say for sure that the characters don't, like, maybe these characters are going to show up in, like, Tournament Edition 2 or Battle Wave or something, but, like, the real world outcome is that we've got one more major Mortal Kombat story arc and then, like, 3 one-shots, and, like, that's it for the... Oh, and then the Raiden and Kano series, and that's it for the story. So maybe they pop up in the Raiden and Kano series. That might be kind of cool. But there's not a whole lot, there's just not a whole lot going on. Like the comics, the comic doesn't have a lot of life left. So to introduce like 17 new characters with like sick designs for a 2-issue miniseries like that has no bearing
some super
on the
powers.
rest of it, right? That we didn't even like really get to see them like utilize.
I think they just wanted it to seem enigmatic, I guess.
Right. Like it was cool to see Vapor like turn to vapor so she doesn't get shot and then fly next to a helicopter. But I don't know what the fuck anybody else does. I can't tell if Silence is holding knives or her arms are knives. Like, it's kind of nothing.
It's just kind of bland.
This needed one more issue with actual story in it, right? Like,
yeah.
This was kind of disappointing, but I got a big theory, boys.
Big theory, boys. Big theory, boys.
Mythologies. It's actually kind of a mythologies maybe, but it is my theory. You know, I have this ongoing theory that Kevin Tancharoen, director of all the Mortal Kombat Legacy stuff, read these comics and was inspired by them, right?
Right.
This is kind of... Plot elements from this 2-issue arc definitely made their way into the Jax, Sonya, and Kano episodes of Mortal Kombat Legacy, just in reverse, right? You've got the Black Dragon in a warehouse. They've got a Special Forces agent captive. It just happens to be Sonya in that as opposed to Jax in this comic book. And then you've got a team coming to rescue them, getting caught in a trap, right? And still just having to do their Special Forces thing. Like, I think that this miniseries inspired those 2 episodes of Mortal Kombat Legacy. We know he's got Hydro in there and shit like that too, also in a warehouse. Like, I think that there's pretty clear evidence that that Kevin Tancharoen was inspired by this comic book, the Malibu Comics in general. But beyond that, Midway absolutely stole this storyline for the Mortal Kombat Special Forces video game.
Oh, yeah?
I'm convinced of it. Like, there are obviously changes, and you will find no shortage of stuff out there that says, like, despite sharing an almost exactly the same title, the video game is not based on the comic book miniseries. Like, that's on some of the Mortal Kombat wikis and stuff like that. That's true. Like, it's not like an adaptation of this, right? But, like, this comic book came out in 1995, and it's about the Black Dragon with a story in it of breaking Kano out of prison, using artifacts that can open portals, and the Special Forces trying to stop them, right? The storyline for Mortal Kombat Special Forces, released in the year of our Lord 2000, opens with, instead of the gang freeing Kano from prison, Kano freeing his Black Dragon gang from a maximum security prison, right? Then we've got U.S. Army Major Jax Briggs trying to track the Black Dragon down. He takes on a mission to stop them from retrieving an artifact of great power called the Eye of Chitian, which is an artifact that can open portals to other realms. Like, it is the exact same story as this comic book arc.
Yeah.
Right? Heavily inspired. Sure. Woo. Take from that also just the idea. Like, in that game, Jax still has, like, meat arms, because that's like it's the earliest game in Mortal Kombat video game canon. It happens before Mortal Kombat Mythologies, but he gets like the cybernetic, like kind of like we saw in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where he gets like the enhancements that he can like put on. And like I think that the whole concept for the metal arms in general for Jax, a Special Forces member, probably came from these comics with Lance and his 1 bionic arm and Torque and his 2 bionic arms, and the idea of the Special Forces tech being out there to provide bionic arms to people. Like, this sets the precedent, right? Like, I don't know if I'm like busting anything wide open, but there's been a lot of these sort of interesting things where other Mortal Kombat media seems to have informed or inspired something that takes place in the games universe, or like the NetherRealm Midway canon universe. I just had to say something about it.
Somebody has to take a stand, finally.
Sure, it can be me. Anyway, that's it. This was kind of a disappointing comic book arc.
Yeah, it is.
I did sort of think about why I like these, because like I still had fun reading this, even if it was inconsequential and didn't matter to anything. And I was just kind of thinking like certainly the 90s aesthetic of it all is really nostalgic for me, because like I was definitely reading 90s comics back in the 90s, you know? So it like takes me back to that time. But like I also like I was really trying to think about this, and it was like, man, the feeling that these comic books are capturing are the feelings of like being a kid and playing with action figures. Like that's what it reminds me of. Like when my friends or my brother and I would like set up all the action figures and like create storylines and like ongoing narratives for like our team of G.I. Joes or whatever. Like it's really taken me back to like that feeling that I had as a kid. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like vibing with me. Basically what I'm saying is the storytelling in these is equivalent to like a 6 and 9-year-old making up stories with their action figures as children.
Yeah, it really does feel that way.
But I love it personally. Man, that's two weeks of Black Dragon stuff right in a row, man.
I could do without it for a while. I think.
Yeah, the thing that I've sort of realized is not a lot of interesting stuff going on with the Black Dragon in Mortal Kombat media in general. I don't know what it is. The Black Dragon are like the worst part of anything that they're in, aren't they?
Pardon? Sorry, what? Sorry, I got.
Oh. The Black Dragon are kind of like the most like the worst part of any of the things.
For some reason, you said it, and my brain was like, "You said best," and I'm like, "No, I disagree."
No, the worst.
But then I was like, "Hang on."
Let's get out of here, Corey. Do we know what we're doing next week, or we'll talk about that off air?
We can figure it out later.
Okay.
We'll leave everybody in suspense.
Might be a commentary. Might be an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Might be an episode of WMAC Masters.
We shall see.
Oh, you know what? It's funny how the best Black Dragon thing we've watched is Raven, Return of the Black Dragon.
100% it is. Like, handily.
Yeah, maybe we'll watch a Raven. Who knows? We'll figure it out. But for now, Corey, where can people find you?
Twitter at Mr. Corey Price, and also the 2 other podcasts I do. They Made Another One, which is about like sequels and reboots and remakes and stuff with my friends Liam and Mitch. That's They Made Another on Twitter. They Made Another One for podcasts, and then eventually getting back to an F1 podcast that I do called Strat 2, like the short form of the word strategy and the number after 1.
Oh. Because there's 2 of you.
Yeah.
Nailed it. You can find me on Twitter at Final Neil. Follow my retro gaming Instagram account at Final Neil Retro. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at MK Podquest. Go to our website, mkpodquest.com. Find links to all the podcast services, our YouTube channel, our little merch store where you can buy a shirt that says Vorpax. And if you like what we are doing, these comic books were not cheap, and I could really use $12 again. So ko-fi.com/mkpodquest or supersecretwhitelotussociety.com. And thank you everyone for listening. As always, we love you. We are in love with all of you.
It's true.
You know the only special forces that I support? The special forces supporting us. That's what our fans are. There are special forces out there. Bye everybody.